The following tutorial will demonstrate how to manage TeamPulse users and their permissions. Creating and managing users within TeamPulse will be done from the user management website built into TeamPulse. In previous versions of the application, you would access the TeamPulse website followed by /user management. To simplify the process, we've renamed it to admin and grouped together several settings of the application. That includes not just the authentication settings and user management, but as well as time tracking, licensing, and the ideas and portal management. To create users, you will need to go to your TeamPulse URL /admin or admin. In the left-hand navigation, select Manage Users. You will see a list of users, as well the total amount of users available, how many are used, and what's available. You will also see users that are licensed or not licensed. An unlicensed user is what we would consider a XView user. Those users will not have access to the TeamPulse project itself, but they will be able to gather information from XView. To modify a user, simply click on the modify icon. To delete a user, just click on the delete and accept the confirmation. As well, we now introduce the ability to restore a deleted user. So if for any reason you have accidentally deleted or someone has left and come back to the project, you can restore that user by simply clicking on the restore icon and then confirming the restore. Alright, so let's create a new user for TeamPulse. You will need to enter their first name, last name, email address, and whether or not they're licensed. As we stated previously, a licensed user will have access to the project. So to answer the question, there is a tip that you can click on to receive the information as to what is a licensed user. For this particular project, we've selected only forms-based authentication. If you had the ability, or you had a mixed mode project where you could have Windows-based or forms-based, you would have the ability to enter that information there. You will need to enter their username, the password, and confirm the password for validation. You will need to also select whether or not they will be a server administrator. It is recommended that at least one user be a server administrator within TeamPulse. The system will default the first user to that. You can change that anytime, or if you'd like, have multiple server administrators. You can select an icon for the user, and only JPEGs, PNG files are allowed. Once you're done, you can simply click on Create User, and that user will be created. Now, one thing to note, the user has to have a minimum of 7 characters for their password. So we'll need to enter a password that has at least 7 characters. I'll go ahead and enter the correct password that meets the requirements of the system. I will add this user as a server administrator at this point, and then I'll click on Create User. A successful user will be created, and you will see them at the bottom of the list as they are the last added user. You can see when they were created on, again whether they're licensed, the type of authentication, and whether or not they are a server administrator. When using form-based authentication, you will not see a domain listed in the domain column, as there's no domain with forms authentication. And this concludes our tutorial on managing users for TeamPulse. Once you've created the users for TeamPulse, the next step will be to manage their permissions. This will be done from the following screens. TeamPulse allows you to create and select specific permissions for each user within the team. Built into the tool are permissions groups. You can find these in the ribbon under Settings and in the Projects area in Permissions Groups. Built into the tool, we've created 3 groups: Project Administrator, Team Member, and Guest. These groups are part of the Systems groups and cannot be edited or deleted. However, you can create your own custom group. We'll create a new one and call it Product Owner, and select the specific functions that they will have. However, if you click into a specific area like Manage Areas, it will automatically default the specific requirements and permissions needed to create that group. So because I chose Manage Areas, they also have the ability to edit stories, edit bugs, issues, and risks. I'll go ahead and add something like portal settings in order to modify them, project settings. And since we're persistently saving data, you won't need to do anything else. These permissions are in place. Once you've created your permissions group, the next thing will be taking members of the project and assigning them to those permission groups. I can select the user. In this case, I'll choose the guest from a demo environment and select the product owner permissions. Now you will notice that I can select more than one. Well, that gives us the ability, from a very granular perspective, to have very limited roles and combine them into one. So extremely flexible and completely adaptable to your organization's permissions. And this concludes our video tutorial on permissions groups.